So you sent over that Life Talks episode, the one on discipline.
Yeah, The Bridge Between Goals and Success with Alex and Jordan.
Right. And it seems like the real interest here is figuring out how to get from just, wanting something to actually making it happen.
Definitely.
So what we're going to do is really pull apart the key ideas from Alex and Jordan's chat, see what's really potent in there for making that shift.
And I think the first thing that really jumped out from their conversation was why discipline often gets pushed aside. We get excited about motivation, right? That initial buzz.
Yeah, totally.
But as they pointed out, and let's be honest, as we all kind of know,
Yeah.
that feeling fades. It's fleeting.
It really is.
Discipline, though.
Okay.
That's the thing that actually carries you through long after that initial excitement is gone.
They had that great analogy, didn't they? Motivation is like a caffeine shot.
Exactly. A quick fix, but it wears off.
Whereas discipline is more like the daily grind, the stuff you do even when you don't feel like it. It's sort of the unsung hero.
Which leads right into that Jim Rohn quote they share.
Oh, yeah, that was powerful.
Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So if you're thinking about your own goals, maybe one that feels just stuck. Maybe that bridge, that consistent discipline, is the missing piece Ron was talking about.
Okay, so Alex and Jordan also spent a bit of time on this idea that discipline means being like super rigid, joyless almost.
Right, that common misconception.
What was their take on that? How did they sort of reframe it?
Well, what's really interesting is they argued the opposite. Discipline doesn't restrict you. It actually creates more freedom.
More freedom. That sounds backwards initially.
It does. But think about it. If you're undisciplined, you're kind of just reacting to impulses.
Yeah.
Life feels chaotic.
Yeah, bouncing from one thing to the next.
But when you cultivate discipline,
Yeah.
you're the one in charge. You're setting the course. You're not just, drifting. You're steering.
Okay, I see that. It flips it from being a burden to being, well, a tool. Empowerment. And they showed how that control starts small, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Alex's thing about waking up at 6:30 a.m. every single day.
Even weekends.
Right. It wasn't really about being some productivity guru. It was more basic. It was about making a promise to himself and then actually keeping it.
Okay, like building self-trust from the ground up.
Precisely. That first little act proves to you that you can follow through.
And Jordan's example, too, the journaling. Just 5 minutes. That feels very doable.
So relatable, right?
Yeah.
It really drives home that you don't need these massive life-altering changes right away. It's those small things done consistently. They compared it to compound interest, how it just adds up.
Yeah.
It's about getting that rhythm of consistency down first.
So for anyone listening, the takeaway from those examples seems to be start almost ridiculously small.
Pretty much. It's not the size of the first step, it's the repeating of the step. That's where the discipline muscle starts to build.
Okay, but, life happens. Nobody's perfect. Alex and Jordan talked about setbacks, right? How did they suggest handling those slips?
Yeah, and that was crucial. They made it clear. Discipline is not about being flawless.
Yeah.
Mistakes are going to happen.
Guaranteed.
It's all about how you react when they do. Resilience is key. Bouncing back quickly, not just throwing in the towel because you messed up once.
Jordan had that really blunt advice.
Forgive fast, restart faster.
Yeah. That sticks with you. It's permission to not be perfect, but also a nudge to not wallow.
Exactly. A single slip doesn't wipe out all the previous effort. You acknowledge it, maybe learn something, but then get right back on course. Don't let it derail everything.
And if we tie that back to the discipline is freedom idea,
then getting back on track after a setback is an act of freedom, isn't it? You're choosing not to let the mistake define you. You're choosing the goal again.
And it seems like doing this, sticking with it, setbacks and all, it changes how you see yourself, not just what you achieve externally.
Oh, absolutely. They really highlighted those intrinsic rewards.
Yeah.
The self-respect that grows, the trust you build in your own ability to do what you say you'll do.
It's not about someone else patting you on the back.
No, it's internal. It's that quiet knowledge, that proof you have for yourself. I set out to do this, and I did it.
Jordan even called it a high, didn't he? That feeling of accomplishment beats other kinds of instant gratification.
He did. And that feeling, that satisfaction, it becomes its own motivator. It creates a positive loop.
How so?
Well, each time you follow through, you reinforce your belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Which, makes it a little bit easier to be disciplined next time. It builds momentum.
You're right. Okay. Now, Life Talks also looked at how discipline plays out in different parts of life. Let's maybe touch on a few of those. Finances was one.
Yeah, finances. Discipline there is really about the long game, isn't it? Choosing long-term financial well-being over buying whatever shiny thing catches your eye right now.
So making conscious spending choices, aligning them with bigger goals.
Exactly. It's that consistent habit of prioritizing, saving, investing, even when it's tempting not to.
Okay. And then relationships came up, which maybe isn't the first thing you associate with discipline.
No, but it makes sense when they frame it as the discipline of communication,
Yeah.
especially when things get tough.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Choosing to talk things through constructively.
Right. Instead of just reacting emotionally or avoiding the issue, it's the discipline to listen, to work towards understanding, to invest in the health of the relationship.
That takes effort, consistent effort.
It does. And then for anyone creative listening,
Yeah.
they tackle that myth of just waiting for inspiration to strike.
Oh, yeah, the muse descending from the heavens.
Right. Which happens sometimes. But their point was that real creative progress relies on the discipline of just showing up, doing the work.
Even when you don't feel inspired.
Especially then, putting in the hours, practicing the craft. That consistent effort is what creates the conditions for inspiration, you know? You build a practice and inspiration finds you.
So it seems discipline isn't just for like fitness goals or work projects. It's kind of foundational everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
They also give some really practical strategies. Alex mentioned putting his phone away after 9 p.m. What's the thinking there?
That's a classic one for better sleep, right?
Hmm.
By putting the phone away, he's actively controlling his environment to prioritize rest.
Setting a boundary.
Exactly. Recognizing that that small act of self-control helps his overall well-being, focus, energy. It has knock-on effects.
And Jordan's strategy, using a tight schedule, time blocking. How does that help with discipline?
Well, that structure can, perhaps surprisingly, create more freedom, not less.
How so?
By deciding ahead of time when you'll work, rest, even scroll social media,
Mhm.
you cut down on decision fatigue. You know what you're supposed to be doing.
Less room for procrastination to sneak in.
Exactly. You're designing your day instead of just reacting to it. It provides a framework for discipline.
Now, for someone listening who feels like, this sounds hard, or where do I even start? Jordan had some really gentle advice.
Yeah, his key tip was start tiny. Really, really small.
Like reading one page a day.
Precisely. It sounds almost trivial, but it's not about reading the book quickly. It's about mastering the act of showing up every day. Build the consistency muscle first, then worry about intensity later.
Master consistency. I like that.
Once that's solid, you can maybe do 2 pages or 10 minutes or whatever, but nail this showing up part first.
And Alex had another angle, linking discipline to identity. How does that work?
That was a powerful one. It's about framing your actions in terms of the person you want to be.
Okay, like what?
So instead of just, I need to exercise, it's, I am the kind of person who takes care of their health. Or I'm the kind of person who keeps promises to myself.
Ah, so you tie the action to your self-image.
Exactly. It taps into a deeper motivation. Discipline stops being a list of rules and becomes just an expression of who you are. It makes it stickier.
So as they were kind of wrapping up on life talks, the big takeaway wasn't that discipline is about punishment or forcing yourself.
Not at all. It was really framed as an act of self-respect, of agency.
Like honoring your own goals.
Yeah, taking deliberate steps towards what you actually value,
Yeah.
instead of getting pulled off course by, momentary urges or distractions.
And the bottom line seemed to be, discipline is just fundamental. It's the thing that makes goals possible.
It really is. It's the engine, basically, the driving force behind any kind of progress,
Big or small.
big or small. And maybe the most crucial part for anyone listening, it's not something you're born with or without.
Right. Not fixed.
Not at all. It's a skill, something you can actively choose to develop, practice, and get better at over time. It takes conscious choices, consistent effort.
Okay. So bringing this deep dive together then, that core message from Alex and Jordan on Life Talks seems crystal clear. Discipline? Maybe not as flashy as motivation, but it's the absolute crucial link, the bridge, like Ron said, between wanting and achieving.
We've touched on how it creates freedom, paradoxically.
Yeah, and the power of those really small, consistent steps, starting tiny.
And the need for resilience bouncing back when you inevitably slip up.
Forgiving fast, restarting faster, and that deep sense of self-respect, it builds from the inside out.
So, keeping all that in mind, maybe the question to leave everyone with is, just think about one small area, one tiny thing in your life right now. Where could adding just a little bit of consistent discipline, that one small, repeatable action, where could that potentially create some really significant positive change for you.
What's one tiny bridge you could maybe start building today?